Hey, YouTubers, I'm in the garage right now. On this very shitty day, so incredibly shitty day, it is raining like a son of a bitch right now. Raining like crazy outside. It is raining like crazy. It is unbelievably rainy right now. Just a shitty day outside. So unfortunately, I'm not on the deck for a change. I know people usually see me at my parents' house on the deck, not the deck, the deck, not the deck. But there's no way I could stand on the deck right now or sit on the deck right now. We don't have like a screened-in porch, so there's no way in hell. It's like it is unbelievably rainy right now, just a wet, shitty day outside. So even though the garage is kind of stuffy inside, kind of stuffy ass like the big ass cigar, I'd much rather stand in the garage and smoke as opposed to smoking on the deck, not the deck of the deck. It's just shitty day outside. Anyway, enough dilly dallying. I'm gonna be smoking a big ass pipe right now, like the big ass cigar. Be smoking some Sutliff Heavy English. Anyway, big ass pipe like the big ass cigar. Yeah, shitty day outside. You can probably hear the rain pouring outside. Yeah, shitty day outside. Here we go. Whew. In general, I like to smoke on the deck, not the deck, because it's more ventilated. Because the garage does get kind of stuffy. It does get kind of stuffy and very smoky in the garage. Like I always keep the door open because it gets so smoky in the garage. But unfortunately, on a day like this, a shitty day like this, there's just no way I could smoke on the deck because it's so rainy. Anyway, if you hear some noise off in the distance, it's just some kids playing. Anyway, ah, one advantage to smoking in the garage is it's you don't get the wind like on the deck, not the deck. The deck you get all that wind, but in the garage you don't get any wind. So it is more like an indoor space, but it does get kind of smoky. People ask me all the time. If you were legally allowed to smoke in your apartment, which I'm not allowed to smoke in my apartment, my Section 8 apartment is smoke free. Would you smoke in your apartment if you were hypothetically legally allowed to do it? And the answer is no. Even if I was allowed to smoke in my apartment, which all Section 8 apartments I believe are smoke free now, they are smoke free indoors now. Under HUD, which is Housing Urban Development, all properties are smoke free now. Even if hypothetically, I've talked about this before, I was allowed to smoke in my apartment, which I'm not allowed to. I don't think I would because it gets really smoky. And it's kind of funny because my dad was talking about, we were talking about building an addition to the house. We were talking about building a screened-in sun porch, basically turning the deck, not the deck, the deck into a screened-in sun porch. And when he had the contractor out, the contractor was, giving me a quote on it. I'm not going to say how much because that's private, But he said, yeah, if you do smoke cigars, you want to be aware of that because that will leave a real stain on the ceiling. Like if you have like a ceiling fan. It will leave like a real stain, like a real yellow stain, brown stain on the ceiling. So you probably don't want to be smoking cigars very often in the unless you don't care about that shit, Obviously, he didn't say shit, as in shit, But unless you don't care about that, because I notice like when I go to my tobacconist. And I go to their smoking lounge. Their smoking lounge has like stains on the ceiling from the tobacco smoke. There are pretty prominent stains from the tobacco smoke. The smoke does stain the ceiling, so it's something to think about. Even if you're allowed to smoke in your house, hypothetically, or your apartment, I wouldn't recommend it. Obviously, I'm not encouraging you to smoke. Obviously, my message to anybody is if you're a smoker, please stop. But I mean, even if you are a smoker, I really wouldn't recommend it. I mean, even if you've made the decision to smoke, that's your personal business, whatever, that kind of bullshit, But I mean, I would really not recommend smoking indoors because it gets really, really smoky. I mean, like the garage, after me having a pipe in the garage, even with the door open, or having a cigar in the garage, even with the door open, it reeks to hell of smoke. It's like, you can really smell the smoke. Like, you can really smell the shit, as in bullshit is bullshit. I mean, we all know that bullshit can be bullshit. But I mean, I would really, I would advise somebody. I mean, it's different with cigarette smokers because cigarette smokers are, fucking addicted, whatever. They're fucking addicted to this shit, and they have to smoke. Oh, bus going by. One sec. Sorry, YouTubers. That was just a school bus going by. But yeah, it's different with cigarette smokers because they obviously have to smoke like 24/7. But with us cigar and pipe smokers, I really wouldn't recommend smoking indoors. The only time I could see it being a priority to smoke indoors would be if you were like a older, cigar smoker or an older pipe smoker, like a, 70, 80, 90-year old man who had like, say, but like bad legs, for example, and you couldn't get out in the bad weather and you had to like, smoke inside. Then I could kind of see it, because if you're you have bad legs, you have a bad hip, you have like bad knees, and you don't want to risk like slipping on the ice or like falling, then I could kind of see it. But other than that, oh, or a burner. Other than that, I really don't see the point of smoking indoors because, I mean, obviously, if you're at a tobacconist smoking lounge, you're at a, frickin' tobacconist smoking lounge, that's totally different because that's a designated area they've set up just for smoking. And they've obviously made a decision as a business that enclosed room or that enclosed shop will be smoky, fucking smoky. But yeah, I would disadvise anybody. That's one of the reasons why I'm kind of glad that restaurants don't allow smoking anymore, and bars, especially cigarettes. Just they stink to hell. It's like I'm glad that that restaurants, in public buildings and public stores, with a few exceptions here and there, don't allow smoking anymore because it's really nasty, the smell when it really lingers. I know I'm rambling at this point, but I mean that smell really lingers, and even smoking in the garage, like I said, with the door open, you can really smell the shit. As in bullshit is bullshit. Yeah, I would strongly advise anybody who's like buying a new house, if you're a once in a while cigar smoker, I would highly, highly advise you not to smoke in your house because I think it's a terrible decision. Also, you have to be careful because if you have children, it can affect your insurance in some ways, your health insurance in some ways, because there's some questions you have to answer on insurance forms and that kind of stuff. Assuming you have, minors living in your house, you have people under the age of 18 living in your house. So I think it's just a bad choice in general. I mean, give me your thoughts. Give me your thoughts. I mean, I'm sure there's people who will say the exact opposite and say, oh, smoking acid, you're a dickbag, whatever, you're a douchebag, whatever. I smoke in my house all the time. Um, I know there's people who have they've kind of built like a smoking room, which is segregated from the house, and it's kind of in its own space, you know. But I don't know. It just, to me, to somebody who's not like super addicted to nicotine, who doesn't need to have a pipe in their mouth, 12 hours a day, it just seems more like something that's like kind of like a want than a necessity. A necessity, doesn't really seem like a necessity, Anyway, this pipe's starting to go out. Yeah, so give me your thoughts. Do you smoke in your house? If you do smoke in your house, what do you do? I know they sell like, for example, like smoke candles, which you can burn those basically, and they get rid of the smoke smell. But even then, it's really a fucking mess. Anyway, I'm rambling at this point. 11 minutes. Have a nice day, YouTubers. Pretty fucking cool. Bye.